All right, welcome back into watching. This is the program where we get to watch a certain player for an extended period of time, or a great start, or a great hot streak, or something like this. This week, I've been digging in on a lot of the rookie hitters. I just did a Carson Bench video. This one is going to be on a guy who's had a bit more success to start the year, and his name is JJ Wetherholt. He was the Cardinals' first-round pick in 2024 out of West Virginia. He rocketed through the minors. He made the team out of spring training this year, and he's been the #1 prospect on the list going back about a year and a half now. 65 hit grade. That's a very, very high hit grade. You don't see that very often. 55 power, 55 run, 55 arm, 50 field, overall 60. He won a Division I batting title, hitting .449 as a sophomore. So the hit tool has always been there. Let's see how that shows up today. Here are the StatCast numbers headed into our watching. 68 plate appearances. He's hitting .214, .338, .286 slug for a 624 on base. Looks like he's fielding his position extremely well. Looks like his carrying tool right now is that he's not chasing. 88th percentile in chase, 85th in walk, 71st in strikeout, about a league average ex-WOBA. So I'm very curious to watch how this goes, and let's hop right in. First game is opening day, 3/26, Cardinals and Rays. All right, let's do it. All right, Major League debut, JJ Wetherholt batting leadoff, and he gets Drew Rasmussen. All right, here we go. First pitch, fastball. And, you know, I make these videos. They're not meant to be a long-term indictment on anybody's career one way or the other. It's more so, let's just watch the beginning here, how they get attacked, and what adjustments are made throughout this early period. So 2 fastballs, middle, 2 big swings that he's underneath. Here comes a cutter. Oof, pretty close pitch. Doesn't go for it. Doesn't get challenged. And now back to the fastball. So first at bat he sees in the big leagues, he's getting attacked with the good old-fashioned hard stuff. 96, 97 mile-an-hour fastballs from Rasmussen. That's a good location there, up in. And a nice sliding catch by Cedric Mullins. So again, this location right here with the guys with the good four seam. Pretty ideal for contact. That's where this pitch gets to. Kind of beats him, pops him up. All right, next at bat, going to start him with a cutter. Swing through on the backdoor cutter. Here comes a fastball. Swing through up away fastball. And then another fastball, and I think this is the homer. Yeah, and somehow this pitch is not even on the plate. It's off the plate away, and he finds a way to barrel that to center for his first career hit and first career homer. 101.7 at 28. Ball carried extremely well. It's not like he crushed this ball, but that makes sense. The pitch is off the plate. Look at this pitch. Completely off the plate. Finds a way to just stick his nose in there and get the barrel to it. Honestly, pretty crazy swing. Gets completely blown away by the first 2 fastballs. Shortens up his swing here as he was swinging maybe a little bit big early, and he's able to connect here. Get a good look at that stance. This isn't his A swing, yet it resulted in a home run. Narrow, tall start. Very narrow between the feet. Let's see the stride length. Long, but not terribly long. Hands back. The loading mechanism is just as he steps, the hands come back. It's pretty simple. There is a little bit of a leg lift, leg hang situation. So there might be a little timing involved, but overall, pretty simple swing. And he drops the head for his first career hit and homer. All right, next at bat, and he's going to get Rasmussen again. This time he's getting a changeup first pitch. Taken all the way as somebody was stealing on the pitch. And then he's going to go ahead and swing at a cutter here. Down in, and he comes in above that and rolls it over to first. How hard he hit that? 88-2. This is a pitch where if you're a scoopy swing guy, you probably launch this type of pitch. But he comes kind of around it, and there is a bit of a rollover here. So far he's covered a pitch off the plate away, and he's been beat by 2 pitches in. All right, now he's getting a lefty, Garrett Clevenger. First pitch, slider, swing through. Also, a lot of predetermined, looks like first pitch swinging. Ooh, pretty good swing at a sweeper there. Flies it out to the warning track, 101.3. So hit this ball about as good as his home run, but doesn't get this one out. Interesting pitch sequence here. First pitch, get me over slider. Gonna buckle him a little bit. He tries to swing and he's under it. That's 88.7. So slider cutter thing comes in under it. They go to the sweeper off that, which is 8 miles an hour down, but he ends up throwing it in the same spot. And this time, Wetherholt's able to kind of get to it. Doesn't really get the arms extended because the pitch is in. But you see the ability to turn tight there, and then he gets through the ball nicely with his hands. So I think that there's a little more pop in here than you would think, given his size. And he almost clips him there. All right, next at bat. He's got a righty, Yoendrys Gomez, a.k.a. Yogo. All right, first pitch, four-seam. Looked like that was a pitch out. Cutter here. So the righties have been four-seam cutter in this game. There has been one changeup. And the lefty was breaking ball. All right, cutter here. Away, that's a take. Another pickoff, and on a 1-2 count, he's going to get frozen with a fastball. Let's see where the location is. Middle in freeze. So that's it for the first day. There's a homer in there. There's a strikeout. There's a warning track, fly out. All in all, pretty decent Major League debut. Nothing crazy there. All right, game number 2 is the next one, 28th versus the Rays. Cardinals and Rays. This one is on the 28th. Wetherholt back in that leadoff spot. He goes 2 for 5 on this one. Here is Joe Boyle. All right, 97-2. Fastball up in. That's the swing. He is under that and late. Foul ball. Another swing coming on a four-seamer. Up away, swing through. So far it does look like you could get him to swing through a fastball above the zone, particularly away from him. In close might be a little better for contact, but we'll see how this bears out. Now a splitter off of that. So 3 high heaters, splitter. He's able to reach it, and he ends up getting on with a dropped conversion there by Boyle. This is actually a pretty good pitch. It doesn't tunnel with much that he threw, but it is a good chase pitch, going from strike to ball, fading away. He does a good job just to make contact on it. That's what the hit tool is probably going to be, but he is in rollover fashion. Obviously, the speed puts a little bit of pressure on Boyle here. He finds his way on, but not much to learn there. All right, second at bat, first pitch slider, taking it. Looked like he was ready to swing, and now here's another slider. Comes in under that one and pops it up, middle in for an easy fly out. All right, so slider there. Here's a four-seam. Middle down strike and a splitter off of that. So unlike Benj, who I just watched last night when I was making his video, they've gone at him a bunch of different ways. They're not just spamming one pitch so far. So this is four-seam up, splitter down. Same contact as he got on the splitter before, just a little bit of a rollover. Swing kind of comes up above it, and he's chopping it a little bit. All right, next at bat, he's getting Cole Sulser, pretty crafty righty with a good changeup. First pitch cutter ball. Next pitch four-seam coming. Strike. Definitely, to me, the first thing I'm noticing about him, he starts open, but there's a dive in this swing. There's a bit of a dive for the outer corner. He closes off a little bit with his stance. He's going to get out here on a 3-1 cutter. So it leaves him possibly vulnerable inside, and he goes ahead and swings at a bad pitch there on 3-1 above the zone and pops it up. Not a very good pitch to swing at, but he's got an RBI spot here, second and third with no outs, and he's licking his chops 3-1. Unfortunately, he gets a little bit ahead of himself here and doesn't get a good pitch to hit and swings and misses. Now I want to show you what I was talking about with the stride. There's the stride right there. You don't get a great look at it here, and we'll showcase it more, but he starts open and then he closes up, which to me tells me his energy is built to whack this part of the this part of the strike zone, and that the inside might be an issue, but let's see how that plays out. All right, he's going to get one more at bat, and he gets Griffin Jacks. First pitch sweeper, pulls it through the drawn-in infield for a game-tying, possibly game-winning. It is a game-winning base hit, walk-off single. I didn't remember this, but wow. First pitch sweeper, to me, I don't love this pitch choice by Jacks, but his sweeper's vicious. That's his go-to. And, it's a rollover, but rollovers can play when the infield's in. As you can see, they're pinched in mostly. They're not that in on the right side, but he hits it perfectly through that hole. So first 2 days in the big leagues, kid gets a homer and a walk-off single. And to me, he's showing a pretty good ability for contact so far. He's put a lot of balls in play, even though he's made some poor swing choices early. All right, third game. Coming up here, also versus the Rays on the 29th. Wetherholt in that leadoff spot. Now he's starting versus a lefty, Steven Matz. So first pitch, sinker. Hits it actually pretty decent, but it looks like Mullins is going to run that down. So he stayed inside that left-on-left sinker up in here. But I definitely think with the way that he strides, check out the stride again, open to closed. He really wants something on the outer third. So even this ball's not that far in, I do feel like it chases him off his barrel just a touch. He has to kind of straighten up out of that. So I'm thinking pitching him in might be the way early going, but let's continue to watch. All right, sinker here from Matzy. Pulled ball away, and here's a slider, and he's swinging at this one. And then this one, he came off it a little bit. Still hit it surprisingly deep because I think he got that off the end. Maybe a little more cognizant that guys are going to pound him in, especially lefties, and he doesn't quite dive enough for that one. So that one did not play out the way I thought it would, and he flies out to center. All right, third at-bat versus Matzy, and he's getting a left-on-left changeup, which he takes all the way for a strike. Now sinker. Try to go for the back door. That's a take. Comes another sinker. Pretty good pass at that, but he's under it. And then here comes the slider, and he's going to get a hit here. There it is. That's what I was talking about. He's got good coverage on the outer corner for sure. Not a bad pitch. Didn't get it low enough. If you're a pitcher, that's what you're thinking. But he hits this on a line at 105.4. And he does a good job of covering the outer third. Nice swing there. All right, next at bat. Clevenger again. So all lefties, pretty much, he's getting in this game. Well, at least definitely all lefties to this point, at least. All right. Slider ball one, sinker coming in here. Ball two, sweeper coming. Ripped foul. All right, 1-2 count. Don't know why it's 1-2 count, but it is. Sweeper ball, sinker coming. So sinker, breaking ball from the lefties has been the play so far. Razor Pip pretty much going away, though, which I feel like he can handle. Here's another slider. Good take there. And he's going to draw himself his first big league walk here with a pretty good spit on that sinker away. So nice at-bat there. Nice eyeballs there. Now he's going to get Mason Englert. So he does get a righty here to finish out his day. Curveball, ball one. Changeup coming. Not seeing any particular pattern with how he's getting pitched yet. Cutter here. Kind of jams himself on that cutter again. So I do think cutter in from the righty makes a lot of sense given how he's cutting himself off. He's jamming himself here. This pitch is on the plate, I'm pretty sure. But you see how he dives in and then he's getting it off. He's not getting it quite to the barrel. So that's my read, initial read. Maybe cutter in, fastball in, stuff above the zone. Might be kind of the method so far for the righties. But we'll go ahead and wait and see. All right, next game for JJ is versus the Mets on the 30th. Oop. Sorry about that. Cardinals, Mets on the 30th. Holt 0 for 3 with a walk. He's going to draw a walk here versus Clay Holmes. So this is a very different type of matchup. This is the first righty sinker guy he's seen, although Clay's got quite the pitch mix now. So sinker, strike one, sweeper, ball one. Here's another sinker. Ball two, another sinker. That was probably a strike, doesn't get the call, and that's going to lead to the walk. So just doesn't get what he's looking for to swing at here. A couple non-competitive pitches, and we're on to the next at-bat. Going to start him with a sinker, called strike. Now to the changeup off of that. I do like changeup to him down and away. I feel like that's definitely a rollover possibility. Changeup again, ball, changeup again. So sinker and 3 changeups, and they do get that rollover right to the first baseman for the out there. Interesting. All right, Holmes again. Sweeper coming. Down low ball, sinker.
Those are the type of things that you don't typically see from a young hitter.
That's probably the pitch to fire at, but he doesn't. Now change up. Swing and miss at the change up and change up again. So, all right, here's the first thing I'm seeing as a little bit of a trend. If you have a good amount of drop on your changeup or sinker, you can possibly get him to roll it over. Here's a left-on-left at bat versus Raley. And once again, he kind of jams himself on a fastball middle in. Lefties are going to definitely pitch him in. All right, so that's it for that game. Next one, we are on to the 31st. All right, 2 for 4 in this one. All right, Kodai Senga. Senga, the whole goal with him is usually not to let him get to 2 strikes with count leverage, because then the ghost fork is coming. So let's see how this one goes. Ball 1. Here is strike 1. Coming out with very good velocity in this start with Senga. Now he's going to go to the cutter. Swing through, up and away. So there's a little bit of a swing through factor up and away. Good take on a fork ball there. And up in, he tends to be a little bit jammed. So I'm liking up in the zone in general to him, and then change up away. Here's a cutter that he comes around that I mentioned. He has got great play coverage down and away, but this pitch doesn't have excessive drop. So I think that's the difference in it. 8.4 vert here. So that's something he can handle. It doesn't get below his barrel, and he's able to kind of roll it and flip it over the second baseman for a hit. How hard he hit that? 96? This is a good swing. This type of swing will generate a lot of hits. Plus, he's got very good play coverage away, I would say. In general, he can definitely cover and wants to cover away. All right, so first at-bat hit. Second at-bat, going to start him with another cutter. This time it's off the plate away, and now to a sinker, which I think is just a regular changeup. Ball, cutter again.
It's a big bonus, and that's what we're doing right now. John, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Great seeing you.
Wanted the auto swing there, ends up chasing. And now he's going to get a fastball, and this time he's on time for it down the middle. Another nice line drive stroke up the middle. So it's the first fastball we've really seen him hit. Also really good base running that he ended up at second base on this. Did he? Yep, great base running by Wetherholt. He sees the throw, getting airmailed to home by Luis Robert. Doesn't hesitate, gets to second, so that's good fundamentals as well. He's also very well known for that, being a very heads-up ball player. He's got an ability to pull the hands in for sure, but with the way that his weight dives over the plate, I still think that most of his pop's going to go the other way or to center field on something away. All right, next at-bat for Senga is going to start him with the fork ball down for a ball. Here comes the sweeper, so seen him pretty well. 2-0, here comes a cutter.
He's seen everything from Kodai Senga tonight.
Backdoor strike, very nice. Sweeper.
JJ Wetherholt.
Ball, getting himself in good counts. All right, challenge heater. And beats him. I love the huge swing, though. This is when you're going to swing big, right? 3-1, heater count. Completely misses it, and then he's going to strike him out on another fastball. So, yeah, I mean, big-time velocity seems to get him. There is a little bit of a forward move that's sometimes a little too aggressive, in my opinion, in this swing. He gets off his back leg, and then that's, like, not a very powerful. That's a very handsy, I'm trying to just touch it with my hands, and he's not in the zone for very long, and he's not getting the barrel on plane very well there. So velocity also seems to be pretty effective. All right, Dickie Lovelady he's getting now. Tough matchup here. That's a dirty sweeper. Here comes the sinker. Ball there, another sinker. Fouled off, kind of beat by that, and then he's going to punch him with the sweeper. So he's getting the usual left-on-left treatment. A lot of heaters that are supposed to be bearing in on him and breaking balls away as he punches out there. All right, next game is on the 1st versus the Cardinals. I mean, versus the Mets. One for 5 versus Mr. Peralta, Freddie Peralta. All right, four-seam up away. Four-seam again. Dotted. Four-seam again. Swing through. Definitely a swing through up and away possibility. If you're looking for a swing and miss, that would be my thought. Four seam up away swing miss would be my thought. He hasn't chased much below the zone at all. And when he has, he's like that. He's still connecting on it a little bit. All right, going to strike him out with a heater. There it is. It's that up and away. He chases, strikeout. Next at bat, starting him with the slider. Backdoor ball. Back to the heater. Ooh, we tried a little slide step on him to mess with that leg hang. Ends up throwing a ball. Back to the regular delivery, swing and miss down and away. Now, Freddie's got a very sneaky, interesting fastball. But yeah, they're just spamming him away. So I think away is where his juice is going to come and what his swing is designed to do. But he's showing some swing and miss ability on fastballs. And then right there, that's a beautiful changeup. He just gets a little handsy for me sometimes with 2 strikes, and his swing kind of breaks down. But that's also a really good pitch. All right, next at bat. Changeup coming. Rolls it over. So I think that I'm going to look at it at the end here. His attack angle's got to be very like uppercut. I think he's coming. I think his shoulders stay relatively flat, but then he's really uppercutting through the ball. And I think that's what's kind of happening here. It's wow, that must have hurt for Alvy there, but you see how uppercut and steep that swing is coming up? And that's causing him to occasionally roll over, but also just flat out be under a few fastballs. All right, change up here. He's going to get a hit. Let's see the location. Yeah, bad location, takes advantage. Up in, and he's able to swat that into right. How hard he hit that? 89.4. So he still kind of jammed himself, even though this is a changeup in. Still jams himself. You see that? But he gets knocked sometimes when he does it. Base hit. All right, Luke Weaver. 4-seamer coming. Up away foul ball. Changeup coming. Ooh. Really weird swing. Did that same thing where his back leg kind of collapses here. And he's under the changeup and just kind of misses it for a fly out. Changeup looks like a good pitch to him, for sure. All right, Tobias Myers. First pitch splitter ball. Second pitch slider. Foul. Pretty aggressive for a guy who, StatCast looked like he was doing pretty good with his walks and everything. But he's been pretty aggressive overall here in the early going, I would say. Swinging at a lot of different pitch types. So it tells me he's trying to see the ball hit the ball. But that might become tougher when you're facing these types of arms. All right, he's going to put a splitter in play here. So he doesn't miss those pitches, those ones that are fading below the zone too much. Puts them in play, but the swing is totally a rollover. And most of the time, this is going to be an easy play for the infield. So gets out there. All right, how we doing on time? Fine. Next inning. Next one is versus Detroit. 4:03 versus the Tigers. No. Cardinals and Detroit on the 3rd. Wetherholt only gets 2 at-bats in this game, so came in off the bench, and he's going to get Will Vest, very, very talented reliever. All right, first pitch slider, ball. Vest known for his fastball and changeup mostly. He also has a good slider. Here's the changeup. Good pitch just off the plate for a ball. Here's the fastball. They're staying away. That's dotted. Perfect pitch there. And then a slider. They're going to try to go below the zone. Hangs it. And he just misses it. Just missed that. 96-1. Flies it out to the warning track. Dang. I think he's going to be a good breaking ball hitter. But he hasn't cashed in on much of those left yet. Okay, left on left. Sinker in. No surprise there. It's going to be in and sweepers and then backdoor paint. Fastballs on the glove side occasionally. Sinker again. Swing and miss. Sweeper. Swing and miss. Just kind of runs out of time there. Interesting with his swing occasionally. Once he gets started, he can't really stop it. And that's kind of what we saw here. He didn't really ride it out very well. Got the leg hang. He's down early for a fastball. It's a slider, and he's just way out in front of that. didn't have the ability to kind of give too much onto that front leg and then wear it out because he's doing a snap thing with the front leg. So there's no ability to like get extension out front. And the back leg does a super collapse thing a lot of the time. So he kind of gets carved up right there by Holton. All right, next game is the following day on the 4th versus Detroit. He's going to get 5 ABs in this one. Wetherholt back to the leadoff spot, and it's former Cardinal Jack Flaherty he's getting to start off this one. First pitch fastball, ball away. Second pitch fastball, ball away. So 2-0 count in the driver's seat to open this game, and he's going to take a third ball. So 3-0 count. 4-seam middle. 3-1 slider. Interesting, showing a little respect to the kid. Don't want to get clipped, but he drops it in there. 3-2 slider. Fouls it off his foot. Definitely a little bit of a blind spot down in, which you don't see a lot from lefties. And then he ends up drawing that walk. All right, second at bat versus Jack. Slider. Called strike. Slider again. In off, ball there. 4-seam coming. Hammers it off his leg. Slider coming. That's down. Oh, curveball. First curveball we've seen him get the entire season. I mean, he cuts himself off so much, but he does a good job of clipping this pitch. This is not, I don't think you're going to get much success getting him to chase down there, but we'll see. And then they're going to get him with the 4-seam swing through up and away. Definitely has a tendency to chase anything up away over here, and that's what we see Jack going to right here. I mean, I actually want the target in, but it's a perfect happy accident for Flaherty. All right, next AB. He's going to get Flaherty again. First pitch slider strike. Second pitch hit by pitch on a changeup. So this is just a rogue changeup. Nothing to break down there. Next at bat versus Herder. So another lefty. Gonna get a bunch of sinkers and breaking balls, you would assume. Sinker ball 1. Here comes sinker ball 2. Sinker ball 3. So this is gonna be a 4-pitch walk, isn't it? Just benefits from the pitcher not having any idea where it is today. Yep, 4-pitch walk, and now he's getting Holton, who he faced earlier in the year. He's anticipating the sinker in this time, and he actually gets to it. So kudos to Wetherholt here. He gets to the sinker in. I would have thought that this pitch would have eaten him up for breakfast, and you know, it kind of does in a way. I mean, he doesn't get it fully on the barrel. He only hits it 91.2. But credit to him for kind of anticipating what's coming here. It's a fastball, being on time for it, spraying it to right, and getting himself a knock. I don't think he gets a double on this, though. No, just a single. But good knock there. All right, on to the next. The 5th. Same teams. This was the game I actually was at versus Kid Montero. It was very cold this day. So Montero basically attacked with a lot of fastballs, both 4-seams and sinkers. 1-1 count there. Here comes a curve. We mentioned we haven't seen him get many of these yet, but both of the ones he swung at, he's done just that. Fouled it off his foot. So coming in above the curveball both times. Fastball in, pulled foul. Oh, there was me for a second. Just spotted me. 4-seam in ball. Change up off that would make sense with all that work they've done in. Really good take. Really, really good take there. And now a sinker. Hasn't seen one of these yet. Man, big time rollovers though. Another fastball here is going to be a called strike 3. Just middle down take. All right. Next at bat. There's little JJ Wetherholt. First pitch fastball in. Second pitch sinker away. Comes in underneath that. Knuckle curve. Nope. Change up. Nope. And then he's going to get out on this fastball. Let's see the location. Jams himself again. Middle in. Maybe he should just back up from the plate a hair. I don't know. It's interesting because obviously this swing can work for him, but he's definitely hurting himself a little bit on pitches in. All right, here's DeJesus. This is a lot of fastballs as well from a lefty. Here comes a cutter. Comes under that, fouls it off. Here comes a fastball. And he's under that. His attack angle has to be like, I don't know, 14 degrees or something. It feels like he's pretty up through the ball when he makes contact, up with a roll. All right, fly out there. Second at bat, he gets 2 off DeJesus. I forgot, DeJesus was in there for a while this game. Sinker strike. Another sinker here. Fouled off. That was a pretty good pass at it, but he's under it. Slider. Good take. And cutter, he's going to get a hit here. Wow. Kind of a delayed reaction, but definitely let the ball travel here, and he just kind of swats it where nobody's playing. So that time he did ride it out a little bit, but the pitch was up, which makes sense. If it's down, I don't think he'll be able to do that as much. So credit him for a little bit of adjustability in the swing there. All right, 1 pitch at bat here versus Connor Seabold. Well, because it's a caught stealing. And that's the end of his day. He never gets to hit again in this game. That kind of stinks. All right, now we're on to the Nationals series on the 6th. Cardinals Nats. All right, Wetherholt going to strike out swinging to open this game versus Littell. First pitch, 4-seam. Another down-in rollover, foul ball. Splitter coming. I like changeup to him because of the way his attack angle is. That's my thinking right now. If I want to get him on the ground, you can do that with sinker or changeup or split, down, away. If I want to just flat out beat him, I'm going to speed him up with fastballs or cutters in. And if I need to get a miss, the only spot I'm seeing is up and away. 4-seam. Split. And this time they get him. There's a miss on a split. But this has good speed separation, so he just runs out of bat here. I mentioned how he has a hard time riding out low, slow pitches. So a nice pitch there by Littell. All right, sweeper here. After this batter, I have to go do the stream, so I'm going to cut it here, and then I will, well, after this game, I will cut it here, and then you'll see a quick transition as we continue the video, as I continue to record after the stream, or later tonight or something. 4-seam foul, and in play, no out on a split. So he's going to get a hit on a split here, and it's a perfectly placed rollover. Now, you can't bank on those kind of hits. I mean, it's not a good swing, really. It's what the pitcher wanted him to do. Just hits it right through that tiny little hole. But for the most part, if you don't get these changeups below the zone, he'll at least make contact with them. Because he's got plate coverage, but like down, if it's slow, eventually he kind of runs out of bat, and if he hits it, he's gonna roll it over. So I think like medium height away, middle away is what he wants to hit. Up, he gets kind of beat, and down, he kind of runs out of bat if it's slow, if that makes sense. All right, next at bat. Littell again. 4-seamer up and away ball. Next pitch, 4-seamer again. Ball again. So 2-0 count, man on third, 1 out. This is a big RBI spot. They know it. They go to the split, and then he's going to end up walking. So they don't give him anything to hit in this at-bat, and he doesn't take any of the bait. Good job by him there. He's going to get another at-bat here versus Ken Waldichuk. So left on left. Fastball here, probably another one in, I would guess. Well, they wanted it away, but they get it to that up in, and he jams himself again. Flies it out to left. So definitely, I mean, you can see it with the swing. He's doing it to himself a little bit. A lot of decent pitches to hit in. He's just come in a little bit too tight and not gotten an ability to get his arms extended. All right, he's got Andre Granillo here. Slider dirt there. Slider dirt here. And 4-seam here. So gets on base twice, doesn't take the bait on a lot of stuff here. So a productive day in this one for him. And we will be right back in a second as I continue in a moment. All right, next up is the game on the 7th, the second game of the series versus the Nats. Wetherholt gets 6 plate appearances in this one. Here's the first one. Here's Cavalli. Starting him with the fastball.
JJ Wetherholt.
Middle, kind of late on that. 96 coming. Target in. Another middle, late on that. I feel like he should be hitting those pitches, and he will in a good stretch. Knuckle curve almost gets him on the foot. Another fastball. Let's see if they try to go for that up and away swing through we've been talking about. This time he lays off it. Great take. Curve off of that. Pretty easy take out of hand there. And he is going to eventually draw the walk. So from an 0-2 count to a walk. Spits on a couple pitches he has been swinging at. So a little bit of improvement there. All right, next at-bat versus Cavalli. Knuckle curve. That's below the zone, ball 1. Curve again. Another one for a ball, so 2 good takes, and now you got to sit dead red on the heater. Here it is. And he kind of rolls over, middle of the way. I feel like from what I've seen when he's going good, he is driving the ball with surprising authority to the opposite field. But his swing, he kind of comes up and around it. So intriguing little swing there. And now we get another at-bat here versus Cavalli. First pitch heater. Again, kind of under it. I got to check his attack angle at the back end of this. Four-seam down takes. Now he's in the 0-2 hole. Let's watch him fight. Change-up coming. Non-competitive. Change-up again. Nice take there. So he's had some great takes in this game. Fastball here. Gets to it. Another guy with a perceived cut fastball. Heater middle, jams himself again. It's just crazy how the dive in makes inside feel way in on him, right? And then he's fighting a little bit of a battle against himself there. I wonder if this wouldn't just be fixed by backing off the plate a hair. I don't know. Change up here. And there's that reach and roll over. Good hustle, though. Great hustle. But he is out. All right, next at bat, he's getting a lefty, PJ Poulin. Fastball up in, beats him. Sinker off of that, probably in again. Let's see. Pulls it away. Another four-seam coming. Pulls it away. Sinker coming. So he's going four-seam sinker, four-seam sinker. Pretty good. Pretty tough to get on plane with 2 pitches that alternate like that, and then back to the four-seam for the strikeout. And it is up in the zone. Now, Poulin, I mean, major VAA happening here. You see the low release. That ball's floating uphill big time, and Wetherholt comes in beneath that one pretty substantially. All right, next at-bat, he's going to get Gus Varland. First pitch slider chase below the zone. Another slider here. Pretty good pitch to hit, but right now his swing's a little jacked up in this game. He keeps kind of top spinning it as if he's trying to create spin in like a ping pong paddle. That's how steep he's coming over it and rotating over it.
So these two teams go back and forth in the
ground ball to first. All right, one more at bat. It's a 1-pitch out versus Henry. And this time, the bat path works well because the pitch is up. He not only gets to it, but he's able to top spin it to right for a huge double that might have tied the game or actually gave them the lead. Well, give them an insurance run, and a very important insurance run when you still have a ghost runner situation here. Yeah, it's just the swing. You see it. I mean, I bet you his attack angle has got to be, I mean, well into double digits. So I'm curious to watch that when we take a peek at that. Good swing there, though. Was on time for that fastball. Stays with it there. All right. Where are we at for our next game? Still in Washington on the 8th. Oh for 4 with a walk versus Miles Michaelis. All right, let's see how Miles attacks him. First pitch, fastball, fouled away. Another really good pitch to hit in what you would think would be the hunting hole. Sweeper off that. Comes around it, hooks it again, roll over. Yeah, his swing path's a little jacked up right now. All right, sweeper here. Slow sweeper for a take. Changeup coming. Little check swing. They say he went. Change up again, so fighting from 0-2 again. Good take there. Another curveball coming. That's Michaelis' best pitch in my opinion. Always had a nice curveball at the ball. And now to the fastball, he's going to go down looking. Probably a low freeze if I'm guessing.
The 2-2.
Yep, low freeze. That ball barely touches the zone. But, you know, after you spit on 2 pitches down, the low freeze is there. So he kind of gets, I mean, this is not even what Miles is trying to do. So it's kind of an unlucky situation. But, yeah, that's very typical freeze. All right, Brad Lord now. Swinging strike at a slider, first pitch. Change up off that. It's been pretty aggressive on 0-0 pitches. Guys who've been throwing chase pitches 0-0 have had a lot of success with him. Oh, there's that up and away. Swing through, came in underneath that one. Good attempt there, no swing.
Pitch 2-3 innings, you feel it the next day.
Gets to that a little bit and fouls it off, and then it's going to be the changeup. Is it another rollover? This time he goes with it on the reach, but a pretty easy play at third there, although they made it look hard. All right, now he gets another lefty. CNL Perez. Slurve dotted. Strike one, slurve again. Seems like with lefties, so with righties, his energy was like his foot was landing quite closed. But with lefties, if you notice, he starts to close up and then he reopens up almost back to neutral. I think that's just, hey, somebody's throwing with that hand that's behind you a little bit. So his weight's already kind of getting out of the way, which makes him vulnerable for breaking balls away or comeback sinkers away. And you would think he'd be better on inside pitches versus lefties perhaps, but he misses this one. Once again, I mean, you see the angle at which that bat is coming through the zone. It's very uphill. So swing and a miss there. That goes to 1-2. Slurve coming again. No, we got to see that from center field. Stays on it. Slurve coming again. I think that's the right pitch. Get him to chase away. This time he spits on it. We got to see that from center field again. Pretty easy take there. Sinker now, backdoor. Misses with it, so he gets a good take. And he's going to end up drawing a walk because he fouled off that one slider and spit on some pitches. So good job to grind from 2 strikes to a walk again. He makes really good swing decisions when he's behind in the count, which a lot of guys don't do. I've only seen a little bit of chase from him that he doesn't make contact on. It's up above the zone and away from him. Anyway, here's Cole Henry's sweeper. Four seam. Gets a piece of that, but fouls it off. Sweeper coming. Good take below the zone. He definitely gets tougher with his eye with 2 strikes. Sweeper backdoor. Pretty good swing on that, but just kind of doesn't hit it as hard as he wanted to because his swing was a little bit delayed. Only 96 on the fly out. Let's see if we can see it from the side. A little bit of a hesitation. Yep. I think he put barrel on that, but he just hesitated a little bit. So tough game there. And now we're into the Red Sox series, and this is going to be a tough series too. So he's not in a great moment right now to finish this video. But let's watch it. 4-10 versus the Sox. All right, game 1, 0 for 3, but 2 walks, and he gets a tough assignment with Connolly early. Sinker in, ball. So lefties are doing the same thing that I've been seeing them do to most lefties at the moment, which is a lot of sinkers in. Occasional 4-seam up, but sinkers in just to get to that breaking ball away. Here's that 4-seam up. Good take that this time. And he's going to get out on a sweeper here. I felt like that was a pretty good pitch to hit, but again, just completely under it, 43 degrees. Pops it out to Rafaela, 1 out there. Next at bat versus early. Sweeper. Strike. Pretty good pitch to take. That's fine. Sweeper again. Very good take there for a ball. He's having a hard time hanging in there on lefties. He's much more divey versus righties. Sinker here, ball. Now probably sinker in. Nope, backdoor sinker. Ball. Those are close, and then he's going to draw the walk. So staying disciplined here versus early. With some good takes right there, draws himself a walk. Now he gets him for a 3rd time. 4-seam coming. Down and away ball. Here comes the sinker. Strike 1-1. Swing and strike coming here on a 4-seam, probably up. Yep, that's that up and away. That's the one pitch he's very chasey on. Backdoor sinker for freeze. Early has not connected on that pitch yet. 2-2, another four-seam up attempt. This one he doesn't get it there, so he fouls it off. And then he's going to get out on a sweeper. So early gets him out twice on sweeper. And he walks him one time. Good battle, but tough pitches to hit. All right, who's he going to get here? Tyler Samaniego, so another lefty. I mean, this is great for him, though, long-term, that he's facing all these lefties right out the chute. He needs to get comfortable, and this is only going to make him a better hitter overall, even versus righties. Just the ability to hang in there on some lefties a little bit is very important. And most lefties in the modern game don't get this opportunity. They get platooned for. So shows that the Cardinals really want to give him a full run to be a potential everyday guy. All right, 3-1 count here. Painted sinker. He's going to foul one off here.
See if Victor goes with a full count. He doesn't. And Wetherholt.
Yikes. And then he's going to walk. So he does get 2 walks. He does get on base twice. So even though the swing path's a little jacked up at the moment, still finding a way to get on. That's his job. Then he gets a third different lefty in this game, Giovanni Moran. Cutter right there, changeup coming. Ball. Another cutter. It's really a slider, but anyway, fouled off 1-2. Cutter again. Wow, finds a way to touch that, and then he's going to strike out on the fastball, which makes sense. It's been all slow stuff, and there's that up and away swing through again. So, I mean, look, if you want to swing and miss, there's only one location to reliably go, and that's up away, and he will swing out of the zone. All right, next game, the 11th versus the Birds. I mean, versus the Sox. He plays on the Birds. All right, and this one's going to be Ranger Suarez, so another tough lefty. He hasn't seen a righty yet in this series. All right, first pitch, four-seamer, strike. Second pitch, sinker, and he's going to get himself a knock to lead off this game. Pulls the hands in nice. I did say because he's not quite as divey versus lefties, I think he can actually handle the inner third versus lefties much more than he can versus righties. I mean, he's a little closed off, but it does seem like he's more cognizant of the lefties trying to go in there on him. And he is able to kind of stay tight and flip it to right. Now, it's not a powerful hit. It's not an impressive hit, but it is a hit. So nice job there. Base hit. Next at bat versus Ranger. All right, let's see if they work him away now. Force him away. Change up coming. Off the plate away. Sinker, do they stay away for backdoor? They go in now. Nope, staying away. Backdoor, good pitch. I love the backdoor sinker to him if I'm a lefty pitcher because his energy is leaking away from the plate. Curveball down. Here's another sinker. Good take. And now he's going to throw another sinker, and now they're going to go in with it. And it beats him. Actually, a very similar pitch to the hit he got on before, but this time he kind of jams himself and hits the top of the ball instead of the bottom of the ball, so that's going to result in a ground ball. And it's an easy 3-1 right there. Does he get another at-bat versus Ranger? He does. Four-seam fastball, swing and miss. Little check swing, curveball off of that line. Good take there, and then he's going to get him out with a sinker. Let's see if it's the same spot again. I know they're set up away. Oh, this one he hit a little harder. It was a little more down and in. So all 3 at-bats versus Ranger, he's put a sinker in play that's been in on him. And all 3 of them have kind of jammed him. Only 88 on this. So that means he didn't really get it right. All right, next at-bat. Finally gets a righty. It's Garrett Whitlock. 94-5, sinker first pitch. Ball. Slider coming, and he's going to put this one in play. And it's another rollover. Yeah, he's just coming in way too steep on the attack angle. I think that's the one thing he needs to fix. Oh, geez, is Whit okay? A little slip on the bag. Oof, that could have been an ACL right there. Turns out he's okay. But a little skirt right there. All right, last game. This was yesterday, the 12th of April. Wetherholt 0 for 4, and it's Bayo. See, I think this is a pitcher he should hit. Let's see how he pitches him. Sinker away. Ball. Sinker away. Ends up being front door by accident for a strike. Here comes a cutter in. Ball. Sinker away again. Ball. And he's going to go ahead and swing at this one. on 3-1.
To the Cardinals leadoff man who scored
It's the best contact he's had in a while. Ridiculous play by Rafael. He's the best center fielder in the game. But 107 at 16. And, you know, it makes sense because with how steep he's coming in, how uphill he's coming in with the bat, he needs something that's kind of matching that plane. That's a sinker in through the bottom middle. And he crushes this. But you can see because of how steep he is, he's rolling over and he's top spinning the ball. So this ball's whacked, but it's pure top spin. That's why it gets down so quick. Really should have been a hit, but Rafaela may be one of 2 or 3 guys in the whole league that catches that. So good swing there. But let's see what it looks like from the side one more time. I mean, that angle is super uppercutty. I'm surprised. I mean, for a guy who's been a known contact guy, it's just an interesting bat path. All right, next. Bayo again. First pitch, cutter backdoor. Strike, nice pitch. Curveball off that. This is that new death ball that he's been throwing. That's been a big game changer for him. Good take, though. Change up here. Ball up out of hand. Backdoor cutter. Man, good pitch to hit, but misses it. And then a front door sinker attempt. Locates it, but there's the rollover. He really just cuts himself off on inside pitches quite a bit. So, now we're going to get a first pitch out. Actually like that swing. He didn't get anything for it, and it's not an A swing on an 0-0 pitch. I mean, he hits it off the end at 68. But I like the fact that he didn't reach and roll it over, at least. He kind of stuck with it a little bit. Just goes right to the fielder, so. Another out there. Durbin makes that play. And we're down to our last at-bat. He's getting Danny Coulombe. First pitch cutter. Good take. Second pitch cutter. Man, this is a cutter. This is a slider, too. Called strike 1-1. Another one of them. 2-1. Here's the fastball finally, 90.2. Ball. And then cutter he's going to go ahead and swing at here on 3-1. Let's see the pitch. Ooh, just under it. Good pitch to hit, just under it. 103 at 43. So I just think through this last stretch of games that we watched, it seems like he's just gotten very uppercutty. So I'm going to pop over to Savant real quick. Look at his swing path and attack angle, if I can, for 2026. JJ Wetherholt. All right, so here's what we're looking at here. 32-degree swing path tilt is kind of like your shoulder tilt. That's actually right around league average at 32 degrees. But that attack angle, that's what I was talking about, 13 degrees. The higher the number here, the more you're uppercutting through the ball in the moment of contact. In my opinion, he would benefit from a little bit of a lower attack angle. 10 degrees is probably league average. I'd like to see him even 8 degrees. Try to make a little bit more of an adjustment to get a little flatter and a little on plane with these pitches, because even on contact, he's rolling over a lot of pitches. It takes a certain type of pitch for him to not roll over. Like the home run that we saw was up and away off the plate. And on that pitch, he was able to backspin it a little bit, but that's not his normal swing. His normal swing is like this thing where he kind of attacks with his shoulders at a normal rate, but then as he comes through the ball, he's like trying to finish high, and he's kind of, catching it at a weird angle. He is a 5-degree attack direction, so that's that, he's swinging a little bit, seeing the ball deep, and that's the way he kind of dives at the ball. And it shows it right here in terms of intercept point. He's catching at negative 2.4 versus the front of the plate. So it's a little bit deeper than most guys. And that's kind of what we're seeing. He's a little late on pitches, and he's coming a little bit too scoopy through. Now, on the positive side, I do think he's done a good job with his takes, particularly with 2 strikes. He found a way to get on base a hell of a lot of times. But this is what we're looking at from an attack perspective. Versus righties, you can see it's blue all on the inside part, and even that down and in, which is usually a sketchy spot to lefties. So if you're a righty, in is kind of the way to go for the most part. He's going to get you a little bit away, but if you also want to get chase, it's that up and away chase is where you potentially get the swing through. In terms of breaking balls, he hasn't hit any of these, but I expect this to flip. I think that once he gets his swing a little more adjusted and a little more dialed in, he's going to be on perfect timing for a lot of these breaking balls, so I don't worry about that. And then here's what the changeups were. He made some good takes off the plate, but obviously if they locate them down in the right area, it's a lot of rollovers. It's just this is a typical changeup heat map, righty to lefty. Don't pull the changeup in the zone and you'll be fine. In terms of the left on left, he's really only seen fastballs and breaking balls. And it's more of the same. Like, they're pounding him up in with the lefties. He has had some success spitting on balls above the zone. He's flipped a few balls into the outfield that were in off the plate because he's anticipating. But overall, I mean, up in is kind of the way, and I think a lot of it is the way that he kind of cuts himself off, and it's the same on the breaking balls. On the breaking balls, he cut himself off, but he gets like a little bit, if the ball starts at him, his energy starts to drift away from the plate a little bit, and he has a hard time coveraging the lefty breaking ball away, and that's what you're seeing a little bit with these blue dots. The one red dot at the top is sort of, that one breaking ball that he kind of sold out for and hit like 103 up in the air. So anyway, it's kind of a clear path at the moment. He needs to fix his attack angle. That's my total, non-hitter thesis on this. And he has to recognize that he's going to get pitched inside a lot. And so he's cutting himself off a little bit with the way that he dives and closes himself off at the plate. Obviously, this guy has a huge pedigree of hitting for average, so I think he'll figure it out. And maybe the swing is a little bit off. I don't know what his swing looked like before. But the things that you do like about him, he's a tremendous defender. And, you got to love the chase percentage and the overall lack of strikeout. And he's still doing his job by getting on base. So even though he's struggling with a 214 average, he's got a 338 OPS, 338 on base percentage, which is fine. It's good enough. Now, the thing that disturbs me a little bit is I tracked him a little bit in spring training, and all of his big-time pop was to the other way. So I don't know where that went once the season started. You can see his spray chart. Everything is pulled to the right. So it's just a little weird to look at, I think we're looking at a guy who, at the moment, is just coming up and around balls a little bit. So that's kind of my conclusion. I think this kid's got a bright future. Cardinals are giving him every chance to run through the finish line here. He's already accumulated a half of one WAR, so a 0.5 WAR on the season, which goes to show you how quality his defensive work is. And he's getting on base, and he's a good base runner. So all those things are playing in his favor. And as soon as he can get the bat hot, he can contribute on the offensive side as well, at least with some swing. So that's it for the Wetherholt video. Another interesting one. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, please, and you'll be expecting many more of these this weekend and the weeks to come. All right, thanks so much, guys. Have a good one.